What's happening, everybody? The Poets here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. And yes, chaos right here, because there's three monitors I want to talk about. Two of them have been awesome, in my opinion. The third I haven't even opened up yet, and that's the new hotness that's not even out yet. So as you can see here, this is all like HyperX and HP OMEN stuff. This is the HP OMEN 45L. I've done a couple of videos on this, so definitely take a look at those. This is powered by, let's see, a 12900K processor. Excellent for gaming and video editing. 64 gigs of RAM, excellent for video editing and playing Star Citizen. 3090, excellent for video editing, playing Star Citizen. If you can't tell, I like Star Citizen, which is playing right now. And when it comes to the sound level of this thing, it's very, very quiet. The heating capabilities or the heat dissipation capabilities of this machine are very impressive for video editing and gaming, so definitely take a look at that. But we're gonna need this power to push the pixels of the third monitor I'm gonna be talking about. First, we have the 27i by HP OMEN. This monitor, when HP sent it to me about, over a year ago, I was thoroughly impressed. Now I have a whole bunch of monitors here, a bunch of computers. This monitor immediately became my favorite and the one that I actually always had on display here when I'm talking about PCs and stuff, because the quality of the, well, let's go down the list. 98% for the DCI-P3 color, color correction and all that stuff, factory calibrated, 165 hertz, right? The viewing angles are ridiculous. You can see this thing at 178 degrees. Like, I see everything driving around in the snow landscape and the Ursa rover here. Spectacular viewing angles. So it's a nano IPS panel. Let's see, for the inputs and outputs for USB, it has 3 USB ports, 2 are downstream, 1 is upstream. This is a 165 hertz monitor, so it doesn't matter if you're using HDMI or the DisplayPort ports on this, you're gonna get 165 hertz for this. It does have RGB lighting in the back as well as down below. I love this down below, especially when you're using the HP OMEN software here for like kind of color coordinate everything. It actually looks spectacular on the desk. This thing, hands down, was just my favorite monitor. HP OMEN sent it to me to review. I reviewed it and I fell in love with it. So that's, oh, also there's a nice little thing here in the back to put your headphones on. So there's no, really, like, there's no speakers in this. There is a headphone jack in this, so you can like put your headphone jacks on. And one thing I did like about this is because of the USB ports, you can kind of plug one of them into the PC, and then you have this as kind of like a USB hub as well. So up to 130 millimeters is the height that you can go up with this thing. So it'll go up and down very easily. And a nice little routing cable for cables over here, routing port. Overall, you can't go wrong with this monitor. Absolutely love it. It is a bit pricey. I think when it first came out, it was like 500 bucks, but with all the features, I was like, okay, you can kind of justify it. Now I think I just saw it was like 400 bucks. So all these monitors, I'm gonna put like a link for relevant, pricing and stuff. But definitely this was one to check out. And it's actually quite dirty because I'm always using it. It's always on display. Let's go to the next monitor, which is this one right here, the 27C. All right, so now we have the 27C here after a bit of finagling, and this monitor is a bit different. So in terms of brightness, the 27i had about 350 nits. This one upped it up a bit. So we have 400 nits here, and then with the HDR capabilities, it's about 450 nits, so you're gonna get plenty of brightness. In terms of the color gamut, you're at about 93% for the DCI-P3 color gamut. So if you want to do some video editing, I would push you more toward the 27i. But this one with 93%, it's perfect for gaming as well. Plus you have this curved nature of 1000R. So basically it's like matching your eyeballs for the most part. So it's really immersive. It's really nice, especially in a game like Star Citizen where you want that immersion. Now, when it comes to the refresh rate, this ups it up a notch. So we have 240 hertz, which is nice, but you have to be using your DisplayPort 1.2 in order to get that extra frame rate there, that refresh rate. If you're using HDMI, it's going to be 144 hertz, so both are excellent. Just be careful as to which cable you're actually using. Make sure you're using the right one. This has the same height, 130 millimeters in terms of the height, so it has the same type of travel. It does not have the backlit RGB as the 27i. Could be a plus or minus depending on who you are, personal preference, but overall, I like having a little bit of backlighting. It's kind of cool to see against the wall, and the base lighting that the 27i had, I really appreciate it. It was actually kind of nice. So it's unfortunate that this does not have it, but wait for the next monitor. It's gonna surprise you. So I didn't want to miss this. 2 USB-A 3.2 Gen 2, 10 gigabits per second. Very, very nice. So if you're into like video editing or transferring larger files, you can actually effectively use this as your USB hub, which is nice. 1 USB Type-C for data. It does have the headphone jack. The DisplayPort is 1.4 and HDMI is 2.0. So this is a stellar monitor. Absolutely love it. Controlling it in the back with the back nub is just a great experience, just like the 27i is. So HP OMEN, you're doing it right with the controls, and it's easy to find the power button when you're staring at the screen, obviously. A nice little feature about both of these monitors, it has a nice little thing for your headphones in the back. So there's always been plenty of space for me against the walls with this nice little thing for my headphones. And overall, you just can't go wrong with either one. I love both of them, but the 27i, I have really been using a lot for a lot of my YouTube videos just because it's flat and it's good for those type of videos to show like different PCs and all that stuff. So good job, HP OMEN. But now, the reason for this video, the 27u, and it's not even out yet as of this filming, so let's get into it. And now, the product of the hour, the HP OMEN 27u. So let's get this open. We're fancy, so we use wine openers here. First time taking a look at this thing. And so, you can't see me. You can't see me. So when you open it up, it actually gives you kind of instructions as to how to properly open this up. Starter manual, very cool. And a lot of stuff. So let's see here, more paper. We have a DisplayPort cable, nice. USB old school to USB new school, so we'll see what that's about. And a lot of stuff. So let's, oh wait, there's more over here. So we have a better looking power supply. Oh, this is nice. The others are just kind of like squares. This is more like rounded off, so it'll be more comfortable on your feet when you're kicking it around accidentally, like I do all the time. And then the rest of that. All right. Give me a second. All right, so we have the base right here. Well, this is kind of hefty. Yeah, I like this a lot. And then we can probably take this out. Yep. We can take all that out, and then probably just straightforward. There's probably a little like Allen wrench key or something to help turn these as we, oh, look, very nice. So HP just has it taped right here. So, all right, so we're gonna use this. Open this up. Very nice. And then just slide this on in here. Slide your butt in there, Charlie Delta. Nice. And we're gonna use this little wrenchy thing to screw these in. And now, look at that one-handed action. He-Man. So you'll see right here, there's HDMI and then HDMI 2.1. You're gonna use this for, if you're a console gamer, you know, that's fine. But if you've elevated your life to PC Master Race, you're gonna be using this, the DisplayPort. So we're just gonna go ahead, actually I wanna use this end here because it doesn't have the sticker. We'll go ahead and plug that in right there. Then we have this USB-C cable to USB-A. And so this is gonna be used over here so that you can actually plug this in and use this as a hub, a USB hub. So this is the power cord. It's just gonna plug right here. I do recommend you always take the plastic off of your power adapters. So we can also do some better cable management. Make it do that. Gorgeous. Now let's talk about this. This is the USB-A to USB-C cable, and I wish that this was a lot longer. So it's saying USB 3.2 Gen 2, which is cool. So the speeds are gonna be great, but look how short this is. So that's a bit of a problem that I do have with this. So you just plug it right into here. Of course, cable management, boom, if that's a thing for you. And then you plug it into your PC, so you can use these other two ports right here as your USB hub. But this is really short. So I know for my average setup, I wouldn't be able to use this cable. I'd have to use another one. Here we have the HP OMEN 27u. Now this thing is a 4K monitor. So one of the first things I always tell people is go into your display settings and then go to the display resolution to make sure you are at the correct resolution. 3840 by 2160 is the correct resolution, but then we also have to go to advanced display. You'll notice the default is at 60. And we have a lot of options here. 23.98 is the lowest, all the way up to 143.99 hertz. So that's 144 hertz, 4K display monitor for the HP OMEN 27u. And there we are, 144 hertz. Now what we're seeing right here is Star Citizen at 1440p, 60 FPS, but obviously you are only seeing 30 on this YouTube video, hopefully. But right now, these colors are wonderful. I'm loving what I'm seeing. So let's do an actual 4K display. So right here, this is 4K 60 hertz as displayed on YouTube. I'm really liking the colors. It's smooth as butter. It is a video, obviously, not actual gameplay. So I'm going to get into some gameplay in a little bit, but this looks gorgeous. Now, the difference between this monitor and the others, we have audio, which is really cool. And so far, it's honestly usable. So this is Epidemic Sound. I didn't want to get like copyright infringement or anything like that. So this is just Epidemic Sound playing random stuff. Right now, I'm liking it. Let's go to some soft house. So would this replace monitor speakers? No. But if you're just chilling, wanted to listen to some easy music, some YouTube videos, I'm all for it. Camping, what is camping like? Oh, that's soothing. Festival. Yeah, this is cool. I'm liking that. Now, when you're talking about 4K gaming, it's definitely going to be specific on which game makes sense to play in 4K. This is Star Citizen, my game of the hour. Absolutely love it. So we're going to go into the persistent universe here, and this game is a massive multiplayer game, space sim, but it's still an alpha, so not optimized at all, and therefore it's really going to push this RTX 3090, 64 gigs of RAM, and 12900K to its limits to get barely enough frame rate to have fun. So we'll see. Now, as usual, if you've seen some of my previous videos, to get the FPS counter, you hit tilde, r_display info space 1 for Star Citizen, hit tilde again. In the top right corner, you get your FPS counter and a bunch of other information. So right now, as we're just starting out, this is your initial room type of thing, and we're getting about 45 to 50 FPS. 4K, all settings are on ultra. Pretty cool, but this is like the easiest it's going to get it. So let's move around and go to another section. On Star Citizen, you do take trams every now and then to get from A to B when you're on a major planet. And this is where FPS definitely tends to drop. So again, 4K, 144 hertz monitor, we're plugged in via DisplayPort, and we're gonna see how well this actually does while we're in the tram here. We're going through the city now. So yeah, we're about 35 to 40 FPS, jumping around there. In this section here, we have the city background. This is all basically like real time. You know, it's snowing outside, so people could be actually outside because it is an MMO. And getting about 32 FPS. If I was at 1440p, all settings on ultra with this system here, the HP OMEN 45L, I'd easily be at like 60 to 70 FPS, so twice as many frames per second. And so we're coming up on the promenade area. It's basically like a bar, disco, nightclub area. Let's go ahead and get there really quickly. And this at night is gorgeous. A lot of really cool effects, great music, you know, and you can grab a drink here if you like too. So right now we're at about 35 to 40 FPS in this section. You can see kind of like waterfalls happening in the background there. You can order a drink from a bartender if you'd like. And yeah, overall, this is still a gorgeous experience. just not as smooth because we are at 4K. So RTX 3090, 12900K processor, 64 gigs of RAM, and yeah, at about 35 FPS. So this should give you an idea of when you are going for a 4K monitor, just because you have that 4K monitor doesn't mean you're going to be getting smooth 144 hertz content. It's all going to be game specific. Okay, after using this for a little bit, I have some thoughts. So again, the 27U 4K 144 hertz monitor, first off, is impressive. I'm liking everything that I'm seeing about this so far, except for this. Where's that little thing? It's so small I couldn't find it. This cable for the USB hub features, HP OMEN, is too short. Like, come on, we need to work on that. It needs to be desk length, all right? So you're not trying to fiddle around with stuff. Because, one, the mouse and keyboard right now, typically I would have it plugged into the monitor and then just plug one cable across whatever I need into the PC. So you have less cables going into the PC. The HP OMEN 45L already is kind of lacking on USB ports, so the less things I can plug into it, the better. This is just too short. Right now, the mouse and keyboard, they're wrapping around inside here for cable management, coming around here, and then both going into the PC. So it's taking up two spots when it could just be one, right? Now, besides that, the feature of having speakers in the back here, they're kind of like downward angle facing because it's a triangle or a square here. That's pretty cool. Now, they're not studio audio quality speakers by any means, but they're good for just watching YouTube, watching like a little show in the background, something like that. Perfectly fine. I love that feature. I wish more monitors these days had these features because honestly, when I'm gaming and when I'm video editing, I'm using headphones. I have a whole bunch of different headphones, a lot of HyperX headphones lately because they're just comfortable to wear for a long period of time. And it does have this nice little stand in the back for your headphones. When it comes to the color gamut, 95% for a DCI-P3 is really nice. So you can use that for video editing if you want. Obviously for gaming, all these colors are just going to pop. I have Star Citizen playing on here because it's a beautiful game. And you know, I'm gonna have a referral code in my description of this video too. So you can join me in game if you want to and get some like free stuff. When it also comes to the height adjustment, obviously 130 millimeters is the height. It easily goes up and down. This goes back and forth like that very easily. So pretty much it's going to satisfy whatever angles you're going to need for a monitor of this nature. Now, for you console players, this is going to be kind of nice for you because it does have HDMI 2.1. So you're going to get that 120 hertz sweetness for gaming. And so it's got one port for that. It's got another HDMI port as well. So you wouldn't use that for your consoles. But it does have the DisplayPort 1.4 for PC Master Race to get that full 144 hertz goodness right there. So console players, you're missing out on a couple of hertz right there. Now, for console players that have multiple consoles, just get a switch box. So you can plug 2, 3, 4 HDMI 2.1 plugs right into that and just press a button or turn the switch and you can have your multiple consoles all on this monitor as well as plugged into your PC as well. Hopefully you have a PC. So something like this, 4K, 144 hertz, you may need a beefy system, to be honest. This is a 12900K. 64 gigs of RAM, RTX 3090. You're going to need some power to really push the capabilities of a monitor like this. So it's more of a, if you build it, they will come type of thing. So a monitor like this, your average, if you look at Steam, the average is more like 1080p right now. So there's a lot of opportunity for people to upgrade their systems, and a huge upgrade is going from a 1080p system, say 60 hertz, all the way up to a 4K 144 hertz system. That is a valid upgrade right there. And then it already has the latest for HDMI and DisplayPort. So you won't have to worry about, you know, this monitor becoming obsolete anytime soon. So if you are looking to upgrade your system and you already know that, hey, my GPU is lacking and I can't find a GPU right now in this environment for a good price, hey, upgrade your monitor. And you might really see a huge difference because of the color gamut, because of the refresh rate. And you can still like run games at 1080p on this or 1440p. You don't have to be at 4K, right? So you can adjust the settings to match whatever hardware you have. So when it comes to overall, with what HP OMEN is doing with this, with the 45L, with its cryo chamber to cool the 12900K, this new setup, and I believe this type of PC case is actually going to be available for sale. You can actually custom water cooling this too. I may do a separate video on custom water cooling because having a radiator up here, tubes coming down, and then I may have to do that. So I may gut this and just start from scratch. But this, I'm gonna have some fun with this. So let me know in the comments below what questions you may have. I think I covered everything for this monitor. And HP, you're doing well. When it comes to the 27i, spectacular monitor, love it. 27C, having that curved nature for that full immersion, spectacular, especially for my favorite game, Star Citizen. And then you just kicked it up a notch with some serious spice with this 27U. So with that, I'm gonna call it. Let me know in the comments what questions you guys have. And other than that, thank you, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.